Today we're taking a look at Nissan's 3-row off-road SUV. This is the 2023 Nissan Pathfinder Rock Creek. So some of the highlights that we get when we order the Pathfinder Rock Creek is these unique 18-inch wheels with a bed lock design, unique tubular roof racks, you can see them right back there. And the color that we have this week is called the Baja Storm. So let's take a look quickly under the hood. It is a 3.5 liter V6 engine with 284 horsepower, 259 pound-feet of torque. You're also gonna get a 9-speed automatic transmission, and of course, it's meant for the off-road, so we're getting that all-wheel drive system as well. So with all the specs out of the way, let's take a look at what you get for a $50,000 off-road SUV. All right, starting up front first for the Nissan Pathfinder Rock Creek. It is pretty much the same Pathfinder front end that you're used to seeing over the years. They really haven't changed too much. So we have nice daytime running LEDs here with the main headlight being there, some fog lights all the way down there, as well as some sensors with a front-facing camera, which is nice to have, I will say. Then we have the nice big boy Nissan logo and this color. I only like this color for one particular reason, because it doesn't show dirt, unless of course a bird decides to unload on the car, then you're gonna see that. But just normal mud, dirt, and whatever, I'm not seeing it, and I'm sure because it's been raining on and off here, this car is pretty dirty, but you won't be able to tell. So overall, we do have a very big front end this year, but again, nothing has changed, so we'll keep it like that. Let's take a look at the rear. All right, now we're around the back of the Nissan Pathfinder Rock Creek. You can see that big badge. I like the fact that these badges are everywhere. Like I said, you gotta advertise these things. So big old Pathfinder badge right across, something you're probably used to seeing. Smaller Nissan logo for the backside. Really like these tail lights. I almost feel like they could have done a bar to join them, but again, they didn't, but I'm not a designer, so what do I know? Anyways, we have a nice all-wheel drive badge there as well as some parking sensors, a rear-facing backup camera. You have a little thing down here where you can plug in your ball for your tow hitch, all that great stuff. A little wiper down here. There's not a lot of room to go up there, so this week I'm gonna leave that alone, but hopefully that holds up in the winter. If it hasn't, let me know in the comments. And you can just see from the back how big the car really is sidewise, wheelbase wise. So let me open the trunk and show you just how much room I'm actually working with here. I got the third row folded down because there's really no use for the third row. It is so tiny that I don't fit back there too well. But we do have cup holders for the third row, but we don't have any USBs or anything like that. So that's a little bit unfortunate. But just look at the trunk space with this third row folded down, and then you could have even more if you fold the second row down. It is insanely big and very, very spacious, which I absolutely love. Now, they're folded down. If I wanted to fold them up, I take this little thing here and I pull this guy back and it opens up no problem. So that is also very nice too. And then the headrest is a little pulley thing that I could pull up or pull down whenever I need. You can also have the configuration like this where I have one side down, one side up. Very nice, very good. Love the fact that this is automatic as well, so can't complain there. But that being said, let's hop on over to the rest. So on now to the side of the Nissan Pathfinder Rock Creek. There's a badge to show you exactly what it is right there. Like I said, I love these advertisements that they have on the side. They're very nice. So we can see that my favorite part of this vehicle right here, these 18-inch rims with that design. I love it. The tires are very big, nice big tread on them. You can tell it's meant to handle anything you throw at it. Also makes the ride height a little bit higher. It would have been nice to see though in the configurator to have like a bigger tire option to just go crazy with it and have this monster truck 3-row, but this is what we are left with, and it's actually not terrible. So car is dirty, you can't tell, but we have some nice, like these are sensors, so your distance may vary with that in the winter because it's gonna probably freeze over and it won't work, but it does have a feature where it locks when you walk away and locks when you walk up, unlocks when you walk up to it. That's the word I'm looking for. We also have nice blind spots. There's no camera underneath the mirrors because we don't have that kind of function on it, but overall very nice side profile. You can also see this big tubular, that's the word we're looking for again, roof rack. We like that as well, but let's take a look inside of the rear of it. Let's open the rear door. Not too much going on. There isn't any yellow stitching on the door side of things. We do have like 2 little cup holders here, which is cool. Then we also have like a little step here, like a step like this to get in. We hop in. It's pretty easy. I got so much room here. There is a 3rd row here, but I'm just gonna tell you right now, I don't fit in it. It's not comfortable to be in there. So smaller people for the 3rd row, I would suggest that. But here I got a whole bunch of pocket storage. You can see that orange stitching around, which I like. This is adjustable, so it can go forwards. If you do have people in the back, then you might be fine with that. And we can also go backwards, and these also recline, which is very nice. But I'll move over so you can get a closer look at what I'm looking at here. Now, we have the HVAC control back here, which is a very nice feature to have. Your passengers can control it. You can control it for your passengers up there, but I like having that. And it's just the amount of room back here is just really, really fantastic. And we have these nice mats that are easy to get dirty, easy to clean, because if you're taking this thing in the mountains, off-roading, doing whatever, you have to have something that's gonna be easy to clean. And these seats feel like they're very easy to clean. So we also have this little thing here that's gonna fold down, cup holder, a little bit of storage, not too bad. 3rd row is there, but there isn't any USB-C charging or anything. There's just a couple cup holders back there. Nothing too special. But let's hop in the business end. Let's check out up front. All right, so now taking a look at the inside of the Nissan Pathfinder Rock Creek. We have a lot of the same stuff again as the rest of the Pathfinders have. So I have a very nice steering wheel. I do like the steering wheel here. I like the orange accents around it. Kind of, honestly, the orange accents for me is what kind of saves the interior for me not being able to really call it that boring, although it is sort of boring. But again, I love the orange accents everywhere. We have it on the steering wheel. Steering wheel controls are very basic. Adaptive cruise control. I got my sensors that I can control here. I can also see all my information in my digital and analog gauge cluster. It's big enough that I don't really care about it, but I would have preferred to see it all digital. But I've seen lately that Nissan doesn't really upgrade their technology all that much, so I wasn't expecting to see that anyways. Right-hand side, very basic stuff. I have the illumination controls and the button for the automatic lift gate, which is nice. And then I have some basic window controls and like this rugged looking speaker. It's very rugged looking, which is nice and fits the theme of this off-road 3-row SUV. So that's good. I like that as well. Now moving over to our infotainment display, it is small by comparison. It is definitely one of the smaller ones in the game, and for some reason it does lag a little bit. I have to be honest, and I have to say that it does lag sometimes. It seems to be worse when I have Apple CarPlay plugged in. The Apple CarPlay itself though does not lag, so that's good. But the actual using the controls, it's slow. It doesn't load or anything, but it just takes its time when you swipe between things, and it's not the greatest thing in the world, and it looks dated. I just feel like Nissan need a software update, and it would fix a lot of the problems that I'm having with it. I feel like they kind of just released the car and then didn't change the technology, but changed the car a little bit. It just feels weird like that. But we do have wired Apple CarPlay, wired Android Auto, so I'll take it for what that is, because most people are going to use that anyways. I never find myself using the infotainment, so it's not a huge point for me where I care about it too much. But if you're forced to, then it may be a little bit rough for you. So besides the infotainment display, we also have a button for the 360-degree camera. I will say though, the cameras do look dated. They do look about as old as I am. For reference, we're talking 27 years old. Again, it just looks like they popped it in the first iteration of this car and then just left it. They didn't bother to upgrade it, which I guess if it's not broken, then they won't fix it, but I'd say it's a bit broken. Anyways, there is a lot of piano black here. I don't know how that would fit with how easy it is to clean, but it's not in a high touch point. The piano black is just kind of surrounding everything. So I don't mind that at all. And then we have dual zone automatic climate control, heated steering button, heated seats, no ventilation, but it's not a big deal for me, this one. Then we have no wireless charging pad, but we do have a USB-C and USB normal. Then we have this nice, interesting shifter. You've probably seen them on most of the Pathfinders, but I like it. It's effective. You don't need this big stick. You don't need anything crazy when it's an automatic transmission anyways. You just need something simple. We have a drive mode selector as well. We got eco mode, sport mode, tow mode, snow mode, mud mode. We just have a mode for literally anything that you could think of, which is great. I mean, that's kind of the purpose of the car, is to throw anything at it and it can handle any type of condition. So that's a pass in my book. Now, I like the fact that this little storage thing, there's quite a bit of storage in there, but I also like the fact that it says Rock Creek Pathfinder. The passenger seat says Rock Creek. I like that. I like that when we have a special edition, we're advertising that on the seats, we're advertising that on the armrest. Advertise it, let people know. You know, it's even on the side panel of the door, which you've probably already seen. So that's really good. So that's about gonna do it for exterior, interior stuff. Let's take it where it matters. Let's see how the Rock Creek does on the road. I'll talk about performance and seat comfort and all the stuff in between, and we'll also get to some final thoughts. Let's take this thing for a test drive. All right, so now on the road, Nissan Pathfinder Rock Creek. It has been a comfortable week, really. There's not been too much to complain about. The seats are like exactly what you'd expect from a 3-row SUV. It's been pretty comfortable, handles the bumps or the craters that are now in the Quebec roads here, or at least in my little town anyways. Yeah, the Quebec roads are disgusting, so it handles that well. And I feel like I've gotten to test the off-road suspension capabilities a little bit more than some that would be driving on their decent roads, because Quebec doesn't have decent roads, and I'm gonna say that every time. So got a good chance to test some good suspension out. It's been comfortable. I haven't been too upset with it. I mean, obviously I have driven cars that are more comfortable. I actually think the Bronco Outer Banks is a good way to compare it. They ride kind of the same. Depending on the bump that you're gonna take, you're gonna get a little bit less or a little bit more of like a toss around. So, but overall, with the small bumps, the general driving, no problems at all. So, like I said, when we were taking a look at the interior, I have modes for days in this car. One of those modes, of course, being sport mode. So let me throw it into that guy. Let me put on some brake here, and let's absolutely take off the Nissan Pathfinder Rock Creek. Boom, foot to the floor. Not a lot of lag at all, although I was going from a little bit of a roll there because I did have traffic behind me, but not a lot of lag at all there. That's pretty good. V6 responds well. You got enough power to get you through pretty much any weather or any kind of condition that you'd want to get through. I also can throw it into manual mode, and I can have my flappy paddles going on here. They don't, I mean, it's a slow shift, right? It's like, it's not really meant for that. I think the flappy paddle function here is more meant for, you know, choosing what gear you're in, or changing gears manually for a certain amount of power when you're stuck in the mud, snow, whatever, or even when you're towing. It's probably more for that than for, you know, sending it down a straight hill or sending it down a straight road. Handling wise too, if I can take this corner a little bit faster, it's okay. You know, I don't have a lot of steering feel, or I don't really feel the car at all, really, unless I'm going at a very high speed. I can kind of feel the wheels take off on me, but the steering wheel is dead. And but again, it's kind of what you expect when you do drive in like worse like roads, like kind of the more off-road kind of roads. You do kind of get it a little bit more. You feel the bumps a little bit more in the steering wheel, so it's good. So it does that good, because again, this is an off-road 3-row, so for that, I think it's all right. I do like the steering wheel. I like the feel of it, like the look of it. It's very simple. You get into it, you know exactly what buttons to push and what button does what, so it's really good for that side of things. So pressing the gas pedal, of course, in these 3 rows cost me about $80. So let me talk to you about the fuel economy. Fuel economy is about 14.2 liters per 100 kilometers. So, you know, kind of what I was expecting. For some reason I was expecting higher when I saw the tires, but I guess because they're 18 inches, they're not too big, so you kind of are saving a little bit of fuel there. I drive this car mostly in auto mode, so it'll just adjust to base how I'm pressing the pedal, which I'm assuming is going to be the eco mode, you know, stuff. So I'm sure I've been saving the most gas possible. I do a lot of city driving, so that does affect things, but overall it's about what I was expecting, and I think you should expect like maybe a little bit less. If you are somebody that does a lot of highway driving, you're probably going to see less than me. I do a lot of stop and go, stop signs, red lights, all that. So for me, my fuel economy is naturally going to be worse than yours. So I mentioned when we were doing the interior tour that Nissan kind of just puts technology in here and leaves it to die. Which is still the case, unfortunately. I mean, that's not, my opinion there hasn't changed. I just kind of wanted to give my insight as to what I think would make this car just that much better. I mean, I'm not calling it like a terrible car. That's not my point here. I just think that there's little things that could improve. We're gonna start with the sunroof. I know that most SUVs in the market in this price point, whatever, they all have some sort of sunroof. They don't have nothing. And when you have a huge football field 3-row car, you notice it a lot more than I thought you would. So we don't need this big panoramic big piece of glass that's gonna run you like $5,000-$6,000, you know. We don't need that, but maybe some sort of a sunroof, either in the front or in the back, or like a split thing, just to kind of, you kind of have to keep up with the market. And I feel like with this version of the Pathfinder, they just didn't do it. And again, it's just because there's other SUVs in this market that do have the sunroof, that do have that included in pretty much all the trims. So I just feel like we're missing that a little bit in the Rock Creek, you know, especially because it's like, you know, you want to take this car camping, maybe you want to like sleep in it, you kind of want something to stare out the sky with. I don't know, maybe that's just a me thing, but I feel like that's kind of what you're looking for when you buy something like this. And also, a software upgrade would solve a lot of things. A software upgrade would do a whole lot of good for Nissan. I think it's due for one. I think it's been due for one. They should probably upgrade the cameras too, which would be good. I mean, they're not terrible, but they just look dated. Again, the competition out here is so fierce, so strong, which is good news for us as a consumer, bad news for Nissan if they don't have any intention to upgrade those systems, because again, they're as old as I am. I also feel like, since this is the Rock Creek, which should have the ability to have even bigger wheels or a crazy ride height, it's just kind of like, it's an off-road SUV that's more rugged looking, maybe not so much more, maybe not rugged built, if that makes any sense. But those are like small improvements that I would do just to make this car that much better. Again, not a bad SUV. If you own one, let people enjoy what they want. Not a bad SUV for what it really can do. It's not the worst I've had, trust me. So with all that, let's get into the final thoughts. So what I love about the car is that it drives very well, handles all the bumps very well. It can take any piece of weather that you throw at this thing. I am confident it can get through it. It's got a mode for anything you could want. It's got a tow mode, snow mode, mud mode, sand mode, sport mode, eco mode, auto mode. Like, it's crazy how much they've put into the drive system, and they've done a great job. I do like the power. The pickup is good. V6 engine responds well. They could have easily put something way worse in here, and I was almost expecting them to, and they didn't. They've kept costs relatively on the competitive side, we'll say, but the things you get are not necessarily competitive with the market, if that makes sense. To round everything up, great drive, can handle any type of weather, not a bad price point, not a bad looking exterior. I love those tires. It could use a software update. It could use a little bit more things in the configurator. Could use a sunroof at least, and that's pretty much it. Fuel economy is what you'd expect from one of these guys. Plenty of space in here, so that's good too. So overall, not a lot to say that's very bad. It could just use some minor little convenience things, and then we have a fully rounded out 3-row off-road SUV. So with that being said, before I speak all day, I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. Make sure that you subscribe to PRN. You can find me on Technically Cars. Make sure you watch every video here, and then you come over to me and watch every video, and you subscribe to both of us. Leave a like to let us know that we should keep going and keep doing this thing. Also, make sure you comment, and I want to know if you're in the market for this thing, and I hope that my opinion has helped you. There's also like 3 videos out from Niall doing all his stuff on his new Mercedes and Cadillac, so definitely go check those out, because he is the original guy for this channel. So, you know, without him, this doesn't even happen. You don't even see me. So make sure you go show him your utmost support, and then come back over here and watch the video if you want again. There you go. So with that being said, I will see you in the next week, see you in the next video, see you in the next vehicle. Take care.